So we're back from our hiatus. It's been a while. We've had a lot of things going on. I don't know if we have any listeners left. They're probably like, what in the world happened?
Right. A lot of sickness.
Yes.
A lot of sickness and vacation.
Vacation. And that's what we're going to talk about. I mean, you've been traveling. You've traveled several different places. We actually got to go to North Carolina with my sister and brother-in-law. But before that, Derick, you got to go. I mean, tell us what's been going on in your life, because our listeners, I'm sure they're all.
Where y'all been?
So, right. Yeah, I've been running from life. That's what I've been doing. I went to LA, I went to Baltimore, I went to Florida.
Like a world traveler.
I went all over the place, just kind of clearing my mind, honestly getting myself closer to my boys and to God. Getting myself at a place of peace again. Really chasing God, and it has been fantastic, and I'm ready to jump back in both feet.
Yep, and I think we all are. We've been really taking a break. There's been a lot of things going on in our lives personally. We all have full-time jobs, so being here is hard to do, especially when you're dealing with sickness. And Derick, your whole family went through a stage of sickness here recently. I mean,
every one of us, there was 7 of us, and all 7 of us got COVID.
Yeah.
So passed it all around. Some of us were worse than others, but now we're all good, 100%.
Yeah, thank the Lord for that.
All annoying each other again.
Yeah, now that we're past the sickness and the baby handling, so to speak, we can.
Right. Yeah.
Now you're all back to annoying each other, but you went to Florida, right? And y'all came back, and this one y'all started getting sick.
Yeah, it all started in Florida. We got pretty sick down there. We think it started with my youngest, and it just spread like wildfire to my dad and my mom, my brother-in-law, everybody.
And we had been in prayer too for your family, because we were in concern of the older.
I lost 10 pounds, so it's okay.
The older gentleman in your family, we were a little bit concerned with, but we were praying for him. But thank the Lord, everything was okay. Dear, you want to speak to what we've been up to here lately?
Dodging COVID.
Yes, at work. Yep. For those of you who don't know, I do teach. So I'm with kids 24/7.
And I work from home, so I get to dodge it pretty well.
Yes. And so, I mean, we've had some up and downs at the school, but thankfully I've kind of like the Matrix. I'm Neo in the Matrix, just slow motion dodging COVID here and there. So thank the Lord for that. But we've also had some we're having some transition in my wife and our lives, where we purchased a home, which was a big deal. So we're moving.
It'll be official Thursday.
Thursday's official. So we'll be moving. Not too far away. We're not moving anywhere.
We've got a lot of DIY projects to do.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of updating to the home and stuff. So that's going to be interesting, so to say the least. Thankfully, I have the summers off, so I can work on it and getting the update.
And I work from home, so I can paint while I work.
Yeah. You can do all that. I'm going to let you do all the work.
I was thinking that, but since you said it.
Laying floor, yeah. Laying some, we're planning on laying some vinyl flooring, and it's going to be a lot, but it kind of a situation that the Lord just kind of opened the door for us. So
that's what I was going to say. We're blessed with the opportunity.
Yeah, we're blessed to have that opportunity to grow our real estate ventures that we've been trying to get into here recently. So the Lord's blessed us in that area. But we're excited. We're excited for Spread the Love and what the podcast is going to be doing here in the future. We have some ideas. I have been thinking of ideas. I can't speak for my other two here, but I've had some ideas come into my mind as we've been off, and just really focused on how we can use this platform to not only share the love of Christ, but also talk about different topics that maybe are hard to talk about in our personal lives. There's some areas in I know in my personal life and my wife's and Derick's too that we really want to talk about as we move forward. But we're excited about the future. We want to do more with our listeners. We on our last episode we asked for somebody to reach out to us so we could have an opportunity to share however way that is, the love of God with them. We didn't actually hear from anybody, but because we had a yearning to want to help people, the Lord opened doors in our lives personally where we were able to step in and help. I know there was several instances where we were able to share the love of Christ with some people, whether it was financially or through testimony or whatever interaction. But I think there were several times you and I, Love, got to. There was one lady in Chattanooga we got to share financially.
I remember.
My friend in Dalton, we got to go down there and help in his area where he just opened he went into a new venture and opened a new store for him. And so he's opened a business for himself, and the Lord allowed us to go down there and share some love with him. And hopefully that made a good impact on him and how God was able to use us maybe to help him in that area. But I mean, man, there's so many things we want to talk about moving forward. I know, and I just wanted to kind of share some areas. And one was one that's been on my mind was just church in general. I know this is a big deal in this area. There's been some talk about churches that have faced some challenges in our area specifically. And Derick, you and I had talked about one that you had seen that had been facing some challenges. And
there's been a few that have really had some big challenges right now with the leaders and with pastors, and there's a much need for ministry, not only on the streets, but even to those people now.
Yeah. And so that was one area that of interest that I was wanting to talk about and really wanting to dive into the scripture more and share some thoughts. Some of my points of view. April and I have talked about this often. And another friend of ours, we often are in debate and discussion about church and how that looks in the lives of Christians. And so we want to go there. There's some marriage is one area that we really want to focus on.
Something that's been on my heart lately is like living in the gray area and how I feel like God calls us to not do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just been on my heart lately. It's easier to stray from God or make mistakes if you are living in that gray and in that lukewarm Christianity.
Yeah.
It's extremely easy to get there too. And that's kind of where my heart's been with brokenness and with renewing. This has been
we need to talk about that
season for me to where I have been renewed and found a new faith. And I want to, that's obviously something that we will talk about when we have a lot of topics that some topics, like you said, we're not going to want to talk about, but I think are very much needed because of that reason. People don't want to talk about it. And it's something that it's going to help a lot of people because I know it would have helped me if I would have had somebody there to talk about the things I really didn't want to.
Well, and those areas are challenges where we can grow. And I think having discussions about those things will help us grow, and not only grow together, but also in our faith and strengthen us spiritually and to help us. I think our dog just made a noise at that.
I'm about to start praying. He's like, yep. She's looking at me.
She is. We have a pet. Our dog Sadie. She's a golden doodle. And she's a special dog.
She's my favorite.
She is so sweet.
She's very, very special. But yeah, those areas we want to really focus on and discuss and challenge ourselves, and not only us, but those who are listening to us. Like I said, marriage was one. April and I have been almost married now 2 years.
We've been married almost 2 years. We are legally married.
What did I say?
You said we've almost been married, or we're almost married
for 2 years. Yeah.
At this point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. We're together. Derick's had some some experience in that area.
just a little.
Just a little. But those are going to be the uncomfortable areas where we're going to discuss some things.
And I think discussion in the goal of diving deeper and growing in those areas.
Yeah.
Not that we have the answers, but that we want to have an interactive communication with listeners and each other so that we can learn different points of view and how those relate back to the Bible to ultimately what we should be doing.
Yeah, and then in the church sense itself, community, talking, building each other up, having relationships, because we were built for communion, not only with each other but most of all with the Lord. So we want to have those discussions, those topics that may be hard to grapple with, like lifestyle and how that plays and what role that plays in the church, and how we can approach those things as believers, as Christ followers. So I think as we move forward, we really want to expand our reach and our thoughts and our ideas, and not only talk about love, but we also want to incorporate those topics and how that centerpiece of love affects all those other areas of our life. So I know, Derick, we hadn't got to talk about this, but you started something, or you're getting something in the works of starting something. You want to share that with people, with your group of men that you wanted to get together with?
Yeah, I
or you're going to pause that for now.
Well, it was originally going to be this month. I wanted to start the new year with new ministry, and it got, with the new job coming up and everything happening, I decided to push it back, and it looks like it's going to be February 21st.
Yeah. Well, tell us about it. What drove you to where you're at, and tell us what it's about.
It is called Unbroken Ministries. It is a ministry mainly for men. Right now, obviously, it's going to be for men who are maybe suffering with depression or divorces or even loss of some kind, anything to do with men problems that we're not really supposed to talk about.
Yeah.
There's so many times, especially nowadays with men, you're not allowed to really have emotions. You're supposed to push it down and be tough. And if you show those emotions, you're not tough. You're not manly. And I feel like sometimes men just need a venue and a place where they can talk about it. And because it is hard sometimes to be completely open with your wife or girlfriend or even parents or parent, and whoever it is. It's real hard as a man sometimes just to show, hey, you know what, I'm hurting right now. Yeah. And I'm broken. And
there's this negative connotation of like, if you show emotion or if you show any type of feeling, then you're not a man.
Absolutely.
That kind of idea. But
that's how I felt. I didn't feel like I had anybody, and I kept dealing with it myself. And through this season of my life, I dealt with it a lot on my own. And it's not always smart to do that. Yeah. And there's sometimes you really need to have somebody to talk to, especially to minister and show you biblically ways to get out of that brokenness.
Yeah, and to have a spiritual head almost in your life that you can go to and confide in and talk to about certain things that maybe you're not as comfortable. Sometimes there's some things that I'm more comfortable talking to a guy than I am to a woman. I mean, it's just
there's more understanding there.
Yeah, we can relate better. But I think that's an awesome thing.
Y'all are trying to meet up, like physically meet
up?
Yeah,
we are actually going to have a meeting February 21st that I'm trying right now. One of my friends has a church in Eastridge, Tennessee that called Action Church that I'm trying to use on Mondays. Yeah, we're just trying to work it out, and so until I know for sure, I haven't really.
So it's tentatively you have that scheduled. So
yeah.
Anybody in the Chattanooga area, man, who may want to meet other guys, start a community, or start friendship with somebody. I mean, the 21st of February, maybe. Check out Facebook, because I think
I'll definitely update
Derick will be
it.
Posting and updating things. So
absolutely.
So tentatively it's on the 21st, but I mean it may change, subject to change. So, but I think that's a great idea. I think there needs to be more things like that, especially with fellow believers that need to be able to meet together and talk about things like that, and show that it's okay to have, as a man, it's okay to have emotion.
It fits in with everything that, even like you were talking about in our area with certain churches and pastors that are going through stuff. Like, I mean, it really could be a way that it may save somebody.
Yeah,
and
for real.
I mean, I wish I would have had it years ago.
Well, I know I have acquaintances on Facebook that have posted about some, and I'm not going to throw out names because it's not anything that I think that needs to be, a subject of conversation at this point, but they have been affected by humans making poor decisions. I mean, we all do. We all make mistakes, but when you meet together and you have a group of people that you can at least rely on, and that you understand, hey, they're just as human as I am. They make just as many mistakes. They have just as many flaws. There's this sense of, this sense of belonging and understanding that comes along with that, because you understand that, hey, I mess up, they mess up, and when things like that do occur, you have a better sense of how to handle those things and how to do so in a biblical way, and not just in a pointing fingers type, which is easy to do. I mean, we all want to do that sometimes. I mean, we all, and I was speaking with one of my other good friends, talking about things like this, that we typically, most people sit and wait for that to occur, and then they just jump. It's like pounce. It's like it's almost like a shark. Once they smell blood in the water, it's over. So having a community like that to be able to talk, I think is a great idea.
And it is going to be broke off of Spread the Love. So, I mean, you can always go through Spread the Love to find out about the ministry too, because this is part of our plan to have like a base, a foundation, and everything's going to branch off of Spread the Love.
I kind of see it as a tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of see it as a tree. The root of it is Spread the Love, where we focus on God's love and how that branches out to other areas of our lives, and we express that love through other areas. And I think that's a good. I mean, we have several things in mind as we move forward. We have other branches that we see being a part of Spread the Love, but that's our first one. So we're excited about it.
Be patient with us because we're learning as we go.
Yeah, be patient. Allow some time to elapse, because it's going to. Like I said, we all have full-time jobs. Whether that's Derick has kids, so that's a full-time.
There's a lot of changes happening right now. New home. Yeah. Ironically, with the podcast, I'm starting at a radio station.
Yes.
So I mean, there's a lot of changes going on. So definitely patience.
And we all know being a father is a full-time job. So
if anybody's looking for 2 kids, just contact Spread. No, I'm just kidding.
4. What was our number? 417. But yeah, those are some of the areas that we really want to focus on. We just wanted to get on here and say, hey, we're still alive. We're still kicking.
Yeah.
We still have some plans in place, but life has kind of threw us some curveballs, and that's okay. I mean, what we plan to do bi-weekly podcasts, but that happened the first 2.
Yeah. All right.
And then now here we are, a month or 2 later.
Yeah.
And so things don't always work out how we think they should, but we're going to be more consistent, hopefully, about being on the podcast, talking about these areas, because I think it's going to be healing for not only us, but for those who are listening as well, because I know that these are not just areas of concern that we talk about. I think your dad's calling me. Yep. So I'll just. Sorry, Tim.
I was just saying, now he knows you're not answering the phone call.
We're a little busy. I'll call him back once we get finished. Funny. But yeah, I mean, Derick, was there anything that you had on your? I mean, as we've been off this time, anything that you really focused on, or any other things that you wanted to share?
Really, it was just a renewing. I think we talked about on one of the podcasts before that God was molding us and getting us ready for this all these years.
Yeah.
And obviously he's still doing it. And during this time of sickness and job switching and new homes, and he's blessed me already this year more than I ever deserve in my life.
Yeah.
And he's still continually blessing me. And I think that's where he's getting me to a place, and getting you guys to a place too, where we can share that, where we can begin to minister more and spend more time on this ministry, because now I have more of a passion for, I really, really want to help in areas that I needed help.
Yeah.
So that's a kind of a passion now. It's just
well, those most relatable areas are usually the ones that we gravitate toward, because I feel like God can use those to help other people and reach other people. So that's where we're going to be at. I mean, we're going to kind of wrap up for the day, but I think hey, we're still here. We still have a lot of good intentions as far as this podcast and the platform goes. We wanted to use it for God's glory more than anything, but also we want to use it to help our listeners grow and also ourselves. I mean, we're going to want to grow together in all these topics and areas that we want to discuss. I think the next episode that we're going to, in my mind, I think the next one is to kind of piece together the previous two episodes with something more as far as what the world thinks of love. So I think that I really wanted to go in that direction. But we'll see how the Lord leads us. It may be something totally different, but to kind of compare, because I think the first two episodes were good, and it was great to just kind of leave them out there too, because we talked about the most influential love that there can possibly ever be.
Yeah.
So now I'd like to, as we shift, begin to focus on what the world, so to speak, thinks about love, and compare those two and see the differences in the two. And because I believe we're going to see how God's authentic, genuine love is not what the world thinks love is. I mean, or it's not what did I say that right?
Yeah.
What the world thinks love is. So, so that's where I feel like we're gonna be heading. But we'll just let the Lord kind of direct us in that.
Do you want to have any listeners text us with or email us with what they would define love as?
That'd be great. I mean, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You can email us at spreadthelove416@gmail.com, or you could text us. That number that we gave out last time, I think it was 4. Let us look it up, because I don't know for sure. I don't want to give you the wrong number. Fill this airtime with something. Yeah. I should be better about this. I knew it last time. Let's see. Recent. There we go. It is 417-698-5683. So you can reach out to us by text. You can reach out to us by email. And that's spreadthelove416@gmail.com. Or the phone number to text us is at 417-698-5683. And we'd like to hear from you guys. We want to know, what is love to you? I think that'd be a good way to kick off our next episode. Anything else you guys have? I'm going to do a lot of editing. All right. Well, that's it. We're going to wrap this up today. It's all about Jesus.
His love is enough.
I couldn't remember.
I was like,
I full on went and painted. No. Good save.
Oh,
we're having any Derick to repeat it so you can cut mine out.
No, that's all yours this time. You save the day. You get it.
I'm surprised I remember that.
Thank you for listening to the Spread the Love podcast. You can find us on Google, iTunes, Spotify, or any other major platforms. Also, help us out by giving us a rating so others can listen as well. If you'd like to keep up with our latest happenings, give us a follow on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram.